Welcome to Luminous Pathways, where we explore life's profound mysteries and uncover truths that challenge the way we see the world. Today, we bring you a story about life, death, and the illusions we often mistake for reality. Lies, they say, are humanity's oldest weapon of deception. But what if there's something even more powerful, something so subtle, so pervasive, that we don't even recognize it as a delusion? That weapon is the truth itself. Yes, truth can deceive like nothing else. Spoken at the wrong time, to the wrong people, or in the wrong way, truth can become a double-edged sword. And perhaps the most dangerous truth of all is the illusion of our own indispensability. Today's story follows Nathanial Wood, a celebrated scientist whose life was a testament to purpose and achievement. But an unexpected turn of fate forces him to confront the ultimate question: what happens when we're no longer here?
All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into The Deluding Truths by Mohsen Iqbal,
Okay.
specifically episode 1 called Life.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this isn't your typical philosophical text, right?
Right.
It's a narrative,
Oh, interesting.
which I think is kind of a cool way to get into some of these heavier concepts like legacy and perception and, the meaning of life itself.
Yeah, I agree. I think a story can be a very powerful way to kind of explore these big philosophical questions, especially ones that can feel really abstract,
Yeah.
when you just read them on a page.
Yeah, and the main character we're following is Nathanial Wood, who is a renowned environmental scientist.
Okay.
At the top of his game, he's got it all: accolades, groundbreaking research, a loving family, but I'm already noticing some subtle cracks in this perfect facade.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, there's that little detail about him forgetting his anniversary. It makes me wonder if this is hinting at some deeper disconnect, maybe even some subconscious dissatisfaction.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's almost like the author is setting us up for a fall, right?
Right.
I mean, he's presented as this titan of science, a man who's made a real difference. But by introducing this flaw, this very human flaw, it reminds us that even the most accomplished individuals are still, vulnerable to
Yeah.
the same insecurities we all face.
So we have this almost Shakespearean setup, right?
Yeah.
The seemingly invincible hero perched precariously close to a potential downfall.
I like it.
And that downfall begins rather dramatically at an environmental conference where Wood is, well, let's just say he's relishing the spotlight a bit too much.
Okay.
Evaluating projects, giving these grand, inspiring speeches, clearly feeling the weight of his own importance, and then bam, sudden illness coma, and he finds himself face to face with an angel.
Wow, talk about a jarring shift in perspective.
Right. I mean, wouldn't you be a little freaked out?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think most people would be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the ultimate reality check. 1 minute you're on top of the world, the next
Yeah.
you're confronting your own mortality.
Right. And it's important to note how he reacts to this encounter.
Yeah, how does he handle it?
Well, he's terrified in denial, desperately clinging to his earthly achievements. It's almost like he's afraid that without his work, without the recognition, he'll simply cease to exist.
That's a really interesting point. It speaks to our human need to feel significant, right?
Right.
To believe that our lives have meaning and purpose.
Which makes the angel's offer all the more intriguing:
Oh, what's that?
to see the world 5 years after his death.
Wow.
Now, if I were in Wood's shoes, I'd probably be expecting some kind of apocalyptic wasteland.
Yeah,
Society crumbling without my brilliant contributions.
right. Like you were indispensable.
Exactly, but I have a feeling that's not where this is going.
Me too. I think Wood is about to get a harsh dose of reality.
Yeah, I think so too.
Hmm.
So let's unpack this a bit. We have Wood convinced that his absence will leave this gaping hole in the scientific community.
Okay.
But what if, and here's where things get really interesting, what if his work has actually been built upon, surpassed even by others?
Ooh, that would be a tough pill to swallow.
Right. What if the very progress he championed has rendered him, well, somewhat obsolete?
Now, that would be a blow to the ego, wouldn't it?
For sure. And I think it speaks to a very human tendency, this need to believe in our own indispensability.
Yeah, we pour our hearts and minds into our work. We want to leave a lasting mark.
Exactly.
But what this story seems to be suggesting is that legacy is often much more fragile,
Right.
more fleeting than we'd like to believe.
So Wood ventures into this future world, expecting chaos, only to find what? His lab bustling with activity, new faces, new discoveries. Maybe there's even a shiny new nameplate on the door.
Ooh, that's a powerful image. The nameplate, a subtle reminder that time marches on.
Yeah, regardless of our individual contributions.
Exactly.
Ouch, I'm starting to feel a bit of existential dread on Wood's behalf.
I can imagine.
But wait, there's still one area where his legacy surely endures, Rays.
What's that?
His family, his loved ones. Those bonds run deep. Surely they're still mourning his loss, keeping his memory alive.
But that's where things get even more complex. Family is often seen as the ultimate source of meaning and connection.
Right.
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 But what happens when even those bonds are tested by time?
Okay, now I'm really curious. What does Wood find when he returns to his family? Is it a scene of grief and remembrance? Or is it something far more unexpected? Something that truly shatters his illusions of enduring legacy?
So where do we go from here?
Well, we left off with Wood kind of bracing himself for this emotional reunion with his family, assuming their grief would somehow validate his importance, like cement his place in their lives even after death. But what if instead of finding solace, he stumbles upon a scene of, well, let's just say moving on?
That's an interesting thought. It really taps into our human desire for lasting impact.
Yeah.
This need to believe that we'll be remembered, that our lives mattered.
So imagine Wood approaching his once vibrant villa, only to find it shrouded in this eerie stillness. Dust-covered windows, overgrown gardens.
Oh.
The very air heavy with a sense of abandonment. It's like a physical manifestation of his fading presence.
Yeah, it's a chilling image, almost like a scene from a Gothic novel.
Right.
The once grand estate now just a crumbling monument to a forgotten past.
Okay, but let's not jump to conclusions just yet. Maybe the family's away.
Right.
Or perhaps they've gathered elsewhere to remember him. I mean, 5 years is a long time.
Sure.
But surely the pain of his loss hasn't completely vanished.
That's the hope he's clinging to, isn't it?
Right. That his loved ones are still carrying the torch, so to speak.
But as we delve deeper into the narrative, I think we'll find that the author is asking us to consider a more nuanced truth about the nature of grief and memory.
And that truth is revealed rather poignantly, I think, through a series of small but devastatingly symbolic details.
Oh, like what?
Like that moment when Wood sees his son casually selling off his possessions.
Oh, wow.
The very things he once treasured now treated as mere commodities stripped of their sentimental value.
That's gotta hurt. It's like witnessing the final erasure of his presence.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to process, and I think this is where the concept of existential dread really comes into play.
Right. He's forced to confront the possibility that his life, his accomplishments, might ultimately amount to nothing more than a fleeting ripple in this vast ocean of time.
Okay, now I'm really starting to feel for the guy. He's gone from being the celebrated scientist, the man who thought he could save the world.
I know it's a pretty steep fall from grace.
To a ghost haunting the fringes of his own family's memories. But I have a feeling the worst is yet to come. There's still the matter of his wife, the woman who shared his life, his dreams, his most intimate moments. What does he find when he seeks her out?
This is where the story takes an even more poignant turn, I think, because it's one thing to see your professional legacy fade.
Right.
But to witness the erosion of your most cherished personal bond that strikes at the very core of our sense of self.
So picture this Wood approaches his wife's new home. His heart pounding with this mixture of anticipation and dread. He catches a glimpse of her through the window, but she's not alone.
Oh.
There's another man, a new family, children laughing in the background. It's a scene of domestic bliss. A life that has seamlessly moved on without him.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
Yeah.
It's not just about the loss of her love,
Right.
but the realization that he's been replaced not just professionally, but emotionally in the very fabric of her life.
Talk about a soul-crushing blow.
Yeah, that's rough.
But there's one detail in this scene that really gets to me that I think speaks volumes about the fleeting nature of memory.
What's that?
Wood's daughter, playing with a new doll, casually discards the one he had given her years ago.
Oh, wow.
It's like a physical representation of the way we shed old attachments, replace them with new ones as we journey through life.
It's a powerful metaphor for the whole theme of the story, isn't it?
Yeah.
This deluding nature of our belief in permanence.
It's a tough lesson to learn, but a necessary one, I think.
Yeah.
And I can't help but wonder, how does Wood process this overwhelming wave of emotions?
Right.
Does he lash out in anger, sink into despair? Or is there a glimmer of acceptance? A recognition of the natural order of things?
That's the question we're left pondering as we head into the final act of this existential drama. Will Wood emerge from this crucible of experience broken and defeated? Or will he find a way to reconcile himself with the unsettling truths he's been forced to confront?
So we're back, and wow, this deep dive has taken us on quite a journey.
It really has. We started with Nathanial Wood, this brilliant scientist at the top of his game.
Right.
And now he's confronting some pretty harsh truths about legacy and the limits of our perception.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about the things we value, the goals we chase.
Yeah.
Are we just chasing after illusions, or are we building something truly meaningful?
That's the big question, isn't it? And it feels especially relevant today.
Right.
With all the pressure to achieve to make a mark.
Exactly. So let's bring the angel back into the picture. They've been watching this whole journey unfold, offering guidance, but never judgment.
Right.
So now that Wood's at his lowest point, stripped of his illusions, what wisdom do they impart?
Well, this is where I think the story takes a turn towards hope.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be easy to just leave Wood in despair,
Yeah.
crushed by this sense of insignificance.
Mm.
But instead, the angel offers a different perspective,
Okay.
one that kind of reframes this whole idea of legacy.
So imagine Wood standing before the angel, his heart heavy with disillusionment. He's seen his work surpassed, his family moved on. His whole identity crumbles, and the angel, with this gentle smile, asks him a simple question. What do you see now, Nathaniel? What truths have been revealed?
It's a powerful moment of introspection, I think.
Yeah.
He's no longer blinded by ego,
Right.
by this desperate need to control everything.
So what does he see? Does he see this world that just keeps spinning indifferent to his absence?
I think he sees something much deeper than that.
Okay.
He sees the interconnectedness of it all. This intricate web of relationships that bind us together, even in the face of loss and change.
So true legacy isn't about statues or awards,
Right.
but about the impact we have on others, even in small ways.
Exactly. It's like those ripples in a pond.
Yeah.
Each act creating a wave that spreads outward.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So how does this realization change Wood?
I think he returns to his own time with a renewed sense of purpose.
Okay.
He no longer feels the need to cling to these outdated notions of legacy.
Right.
He's not measuring his worth against these external markers of success.
So instead of trying to build this grand monument to himself, he focuses on living a life of genuine connection.
Exactly. Compassion, kindness.
He finally understands that fulfillment comes from the quality of our relationships.
Right.
The love we share, the difference we make in the lives of others.
And I think there's a really powerful message there for all of us.
Yeah.
We get so caught up in the pursuit of success
Yep.
that we forget that the most enduring legacies are often built through small acts of love, kindness, generosity.
It's not about the size of the gesture,
Exactly.
but the intention behind it.
With the love that fuels it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the deluding truths,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this thought. What legacy are you building?
Are you chasing illusions, or are you cultivating a life of connection?
What small acts of kindness can you do today to create those ripples of positive change?
It's not about grand gestures,
Right.
but about those everyday moments of love and generosity.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope this deep dive has sparked some new insights.
And inspired you to embrace a more meaningful way of life.